You're right. Actually, it really is serious for these people. I've seen them play. I apologize if you're a loot,
Hey, what do you mean
lootist,
these people?
lootist.
Nobody's gonna watch this review. We gotta start over.
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. You're late.
Pizza time.
Pizza time.
Guys, we are here for a Dungeons and Dragons review. Honor Among Thieves.
Whoop, whoop.
What's
People still do
good?
that?
I don't know. No,
Yeah. Whoop,
I don't think
whoop.
so. Whoop whoop. No, that's.
Do people
Was that
ever do
even
that?
like? Is that even like a '90s? It might have been an
Damn,
'80s thing.
man. Shut up, bitch. It's something. I mean, what the hell? You're supposed to back me up. We're supposed to be friends.
I am. I'm just saying. I'm like, I would say it. That's what I'm saying. Whoop whoop is like totally my thing. Why not? It just sounds a lot older than maybe even us. Is all I'm saying. But hey, whoop whoop. Speaking of whoop whoop, Dungeons and Dragons is out. Well, no. Oh no, not. I don't know. When are we posting this? Let's figure that out. I'm not sure.
Dungeons and Dragons. When you see this, Dungeons and Dragons may be out. It may not be out, but the embargo is lifted, and we got the chance to see it early. So we're
Correct.
coming to you with a full review slash. We'll start with a non-spoiler review and then go into spoilers.
Okay, maybe yeah. We need to be better also at just like claiming when that's happening.
Yeah,
Half the time we're like already into half spoilers,
yes,
and we're like,
yes.
guess what? Spoilers, everybody.
Spoiler
We're so
alert.
bad at
Yeah,
that.
no,
Sorry
we
about
won't do that this time because it will probably drop early. So we'll drop a clean mark in the video. We'll get the timestamp down below to say when the spoiler talk starts.
Correct. But let's get into it. This is Dungeons and Dragons. It's the 2023 fantasy comedy about obviously adventure based on the popular role-playing game that I've never played. Alex, have you ever played it?
I have never played it. I have a cousin who is very, 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 very much into it. Like he does it multiple times a week.
Wow. Yeah, I do too. I have a cousin that does the same
weird.
thing.
Fucking
They seem to
weird.
fucking love it.
That
Like,
is
you know what
the
I'm saying?
Filipino version of me.
No, it's so it's like
very
weirdly. Sometimes I feel like
concerning.
you're in a multiverse and I'm in a separate multiverse, and somehow we're just maybe
The same
perhaps movie
person.
talk is like connecting
Yeah,
us strangely.
Maybe.
Yeah, and
As
I'm
your
gone.
camera goes out. Maybe Ed just got snapped back into his multiverse. Oh no, we don't do snaps anymore.
No.
King into his universe. Who's the
Kang
big bad?
Gang.
King
Kang Gang's the universe.
Don't say King Gang. That's weird.
Why?
Gang. That's derogatory.
Oh, okay. Let's not get into that really quick. Alex has never been a part of a gang. Let's just make sure that's clear. Let's go. Look at your face. I love it. All right, Dungeons and Dragons. We're having too much fun here. Dungeons and Dragons, based on the role playing game. If you've seen the trailers, you know exactly what to expect. It's dragons, it's people with fiddles, and
It's
ogres.
a LARP. It's a
it's
LARP.
fantasy. LARP or schmarp. Okay, I don't know what that
think it's
even
a LARP.
means. I
No,
still
it's
don't
a
even really know
loot.
that.
It's a loot.
A lute.
I just
The
made that up.
fucking fiddle thing.
Yeah,
The
it's
guitar?
It's not a fiddle.
Why are you so? I'm sorry. Do you have one? What is up with it? Why are you defending the lute so much?
Bitch, I'm defending it because Dungeons and Dragons people are gonna be watching this, and we gotta be serious.
All right. You're right.
This is serious.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, it really is serious for these people. I've seen them play. I apologize if you're a lootist.
What do you mean these people?
Lootist.
Nobody's gonna watch this review. We gotta start over.
In the attempt to get us to be credible for this, we're just doing the worst job ever.
Yes.
No, they're having fun. Look, it's Dungeons and Dragons, okay? Jesus. But it stars, of course, Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, Sophia Lillis, and Hugh Grant. And it's just, look, a little background. It's like, first of all, at first, who would have thought that anybody should or would care about this movie?
Right.
But, for you and me, when we first saw that trailer drop couple months ago, we were shocked at just the display of everything being like, this shouldn't be what this movie should be. This looks very good in all facets. Well, we were interested in what the CGI looked great, the cast was strong, it seemed funny,
comedy looked great.
Comedy looked great. I mean, it just doesn't seem to be a movie that should look at or sound as good as it should when it's got Dungeons and Dragons in front of it. and we've been very excited to finally see it. And then we got even more excited when we heard that it was screened in South by Southwest, and the initial reviews were like really positive. I think right now, currently, what is it at?
90%.
No, 90%. I wasn't even expecting, for real.
90%
Dude, that's
with
crazy.
45 reviews.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's really good. That's really good.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's jump off of that then.
Okay.
And start off with our review. I'll say, man. Oh, by the way, we watched this together. We watched this together at a screen.
Yes.
It's one of the first things we watched together, ironically enough. And right, I think it is Dungeons and Dragons is what brought us together.
Yeah. It's one of the absolutely, yeah.
Definitely one of the
since the podcast has started.
Correct. And dude, I had a great time. You were there with me. I was laughing my butt off with most of the jokes. I thought a lot of it landed. The CGI is really good. Overall, I thought it was a very ambitious movie for, again, what it is about and what it's based on. It didn't seem like it should be anywhere near this good or extensive in the CGI department or the camera work and the filmmaking. And the sequences, the movie moves, it just moves. There's so many set pieces, happening, and it's a long movie too, at 2 hours plus, and it's I just thought it was a great time. It's hard not to. It's a good time at the movies at the end of the day, and should really please, I think, anybody looking for just to get out, have some laughs with friends, and dragons, and it's like a fun Game of Thrones. It's like if Game of Thrones was like,
oh, that's a great way to put it.
You know what I mean? Like fun.
Wow.
Like think of it that way, because you get pretty much all the facets of like what you will see in Game of Thrones, and then here in this like more levity, driven thing. So I had a good time. How about you?
Couldn't agree with you more. I had a great time. We were sitting right next to each other. We were laughing the whole time. Chris Pine, I think, is built for a leading role like this, where he is the, kind of comedic relief, but still the lead. Like he's done the more drama stuff, and I don't think it's worked out as well for him. But this worked really well. It reminded me of him playing
Kirk,
Captain Kirk. I was gonna call him Captain Picard. That's not him. Sorry. It reminded me of him playing Captain Kirk in the Star Trek series, the trilogy there, where he was serious, but he was still brought enough levity to the role to make it fun and inclusive for everybody to enjoy. Like, we're not Dungeons and Dragons fans, and I can say comfortably, we sat next to what I believe were two big Dungeons and Dragons fans. Judging by the way they yelled and they laughed and they were pointing at the screen.
These girls. Let me tell you something. This is the first time I was like, oh, this is what me and Alex are like at an MCU movie. For those who are like,
when it was good.
Absolutely, when it was good. Only when it's good. I'll say that. I'm like, oh, that's us. That's us when there's like some regular person next to us who just like, okay, all right. Well, they're having a good time. I'm having a good time. They're having a good time. So there were these like two, women who just were clearly huge Dungeons and Dragons. They were laughing at references. I had no clue what the fuck was going on. And I was like, good for them. Like, cool.
Yeah. And it's not just references. There was like music notes at points. I didn't even know music was part of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
There was, like, a musical score at one point. They're like, oh, and I was like, oh, hey, what are we doing here? But yeah, it was true. The movie was so much fun. It had so many hilarious moments. It comes in at 2 hours and 10 minutes, but boy, oh boy, it is so well paced. It is so well, I would say, executed in a way where everything is nice and easy for you to understand. There is the lore that's there, right? That the Dungeons and Dragons fans will love. And then there's the simple story that your main audience will love. And that's how you do it. That's how you have to do it.
That's so true. Like none of it, it's like water and oil. Like they don't muddle each other at all.
Right, exactly.
They're very clear what they are. And if you're there, if you don't need to know D&D at all.
No, you do not.
If you don't know D&D, it plays just like a regular fantasy movie.
Yeah.
That just shows up. You don't need to know. There's no prerequisite. But clearly, if you are, they have all of that in there too. So brilliant. Yeah, I thought that in that sense, they did a really good job making sure everyone was in on it. and that you can enjoy it no matter who you are. They did a really, really good job for
We
sure.
completely agree. Yeah, they
100%.
did such a nice job of balancing everything. And then, like I said, with Chris Pine, I started there with his great performance, but the rest of it, Sophia Lillis, man, I kind of wish she played Ellie in The Last of Us.
Yes,
I
she
think
was on
she
the
might
top of
have,
my list
yeah, I
originally.
think she would have been an amazing choice. But
She's a great actress.
yeah, she's great as this, like, she's kind of like a stoic, funny lady who
Yeah.
has no trust.
No.
Justice Smith pays this kind
I
of
like Justice
silly
Smith.
wizard, but it works because it works in his arc.
Yeah.
Michelle Rodriguez plays the brute, and she works, but like she works because you can buy Michelle Rodriguez in that role because she's played that role before.
Oh
Like,
my god! And
like
dude,
you
Michelle.
think Michelle Rodriguez, you think strong woman. Like,
Yeah,
that's what you think. Like,
100%.
that's the first thing you think.
And
Badass.
she's easily one of the first to do it in Hollywood. You know
Multiple
what I mean?
roles, yeah.
If I was Michelle Rodriguez, I'd be pissed with what everything's going on right now, and the fact that like I feel like she's been overlooked in the
Yeah.
conversation of oh, strong women, it's never happened before. Fuck you.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
had Michelle Rodriguez in the early like the 90s, bro.
Yeah.
Like fuck
You
that.
haven't seen me beat people up for decades now.
She still brings it, dude. I've been waiting for this with Michelle Rodriguez again because the last time I saw her like get in with a good action sequence was like Fast and Furious 6, which is like ages ago now.
Fisticuffs with
Gina
Carano.
Carano. Yeah,
Yeah.
love that action scene. And
That's
she,
a
oh
great scene.
man, they're so good. And she brings it yet again here. She's a little older, but I could care less. Like she doesn't seem like she aged at all.
But
She's awesome.
She had that. I would say she had that Drax kind of mentality where she's
yeah.
where she's like she doesn't get she doesn't get sarcasm and humor. That's her.
Yeah,
in this. That's who they built this on. And the directors, they are Goldstein and I can't remember the other guy's name. So sorry. And
Daly.
John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. They did a fantastic job. They directed one of our favorite movies of the past couple years, or that's been a lot longer than that now. Game Night, which was Game Night is a hilarious movie. It has angles that you would never see in a comedy like that before.
Yes.
And it works so well. They actually were slated to direct The Flash, and they left the project because they were like, "No, we're good. We don't want to touch this anymore." And they went to do this, and this is a massive win. Please go see this movie in theaters. Give this movie all the money. We just did a Shazam review. Do not give that movie money. Give this movie money. It is fantastic. It's fun. It's an IP that we've never seen before. And yeah, it's an IP, but at least it was fun. And I had so much fun in this movie theater watching this movie. And it just made me happy. I just really liked this movie. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Again, I felt the same way. It's just a good time. It's just a good time at the theaters. It's a very humor first movie. Like
it's a comedy.
Almost. It's a comedy. It is literally essentially a comedy, a fantasy comedy.
Yeah.
Every scene has like some, it's trying to make you laugh in some way.
Yeah.
And luckily, pretty much, almost every time it works. I mean, I really had no problem.
We haven't even mentioned Hugh Grant.
Yeah, Hugh Grant's great.
Hugh Grant is phenomenal.
I love his character.
Hilarious in this.
Yeah. He's like so self-absorbed. He plays this villain that's just so self-absorbed and like is so worried about the luxury that he plays this like lord. He falls upon like money and he becomes this lord. But he used to be a thief.
Let's draw the line here. Spoilers start now.
Okay.
Whatever this is, spoilers start now. When I'm editing it, look for this sign. Now we can talk about spoilers.
Good call. Okay, spoiler here. So he plays this like they're all thieves and essentially, but he falls upon some money and he becomes this lord instead. And he it's just so funny to watch Hugh Grant, play this guy who cares about how hot his tea is and how bright the lights are.
Yeah,
it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah,
he just cares so much about how the outside world how he looks like to the outside world. And he's so stuck up, and it's great because Hugh Grant has been choosing these roles lately where he's not the romance comedy lead anymore. He kind of which he's great. but he's been choosing these roles where he can really stretch out. I don't know if you saw the that HBO thriller with Uma Thurman. What the hell was it called? The Uninvited, this something I forget, but he
Uma Thurman. I haven't heard that name.
Yeah,
in
he
forever.
essentially is it Uma Thurman? I'm pretty sure it's Uma Thurman. But he plays he also plays like sort of this like villainous kind of guy, and he does a great job. And this kind of reminded me of him, where he feels like he could play that sort of psychotic person, and he plays him really, really well here. And then, his face on the balloon is incredible. Every time I saw that fucking balloon, there's this balloon.
The balloon is hilarious.
Yeah, it's just his face on it. It's just so freaking funny. Anyways, Hugh Grant's awesome.
But you really funny in The Gentleman too.
Yes, yeah. He's been branching out. He doesn't want to play the romantic guy anymore. He's been wanting to play, and he does a great job here, I thought.
Yeah.
What other characters did you like? I mean, I agreed with you with Chris Pine. Obviously, he needs to play these people.
Yeah. Chris Pine's hard to be the favorite, not be your favorite character in this. It's really hard not to be. He's really likable.
Ultra likable.
I did I loved Michelle Rodriguez in this movie. I thought she knocked it out of the park, dude. She plays Olga. Oh my god, Hugh Grant. Holga.
Yeah,
Hugh Grant. That was we were dying at that part. That part was so funny. Michelle Rodriguez. She plays. Good. I don't know the name of the creature she plays, but.
Like the faction of the group that she I don't know either, but I
don't know any of these names. Yeah,
they're really big, brooding
guys, and she plays this hilarious character. And then let's talk about the cameo. Major spoiler here.
She's a barbarian.
Oh, she's a barbarian. Okay, yeah. She's a barbarian. She's a barbarian who loves small men. And you get a cameo in this where she goes back home.
Major spoiler if you really don't want to know. This is a major spoiler.
Major spoiler. Skip this part. Bradley Cooper is her ex-husband, and it is the most surprising cameo I think I've ever seen in a movie, or at least the last 5 years.
No, I think it's the most surprised I've ever been with a cameo.
I did not think Bradley Cooper was going to be the person who opened this fucking door. And you're just laughing so hard. It's just really funny. I just loved every second of that conversation. Yeah. And he's basically telling her, I did love you. You didn't try, or it wasn't good enough. And it was very funny because he plays this tiny man.
Like Hobbit.
Like a hobbit.
Yeah.
Like a hobbit. But Bradley Cooper's in it. It's hilarious. That whole conversation is hilarious. And to top it off, Michelle Rodriguez. Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez. I feel like they tease a romance between Pine and Rodriguez. But a little bit, yes. Yeah, it's teased and hinted at a little bit, and I'm sure they'll go into it a little bit later on if there's sequels.
That scene is a prime example of Chris Pine. Why he's just so good at comedic timing and being likable, because the scene is that what does he say? They come to a revelation because Holga's like, oh, this, and Chris Pine's like, oh, you're right, I could kiss you right now, and then Holga's like, I'd like to see you try, or something like that.
Yeah, that's what she says. Yeah, and he's like, wait,
so
yeah, he was like, wait, should I do that or wait?
Millisecond of I don't want. I think you're kidding. I kind of want to. Does that mean you want to?
Right, yeah. That's a really funny scene. That's a very funny scene.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's Michelle Rodriguez probably might be my favorite character. Even though it's hard to pick a favorite character.
I agree. I'll say this. I think you're right. You said Sophia Lillis. I want to make a shout out to Sophia Lillis because she's awesome. I think she's incredible as an actress. When you see her in It, she was one of my favorite. I think she's the best character in It, for one. Two, I think she was one of my rising stars. I was like, oh my God, I want to see her in other things. She's just so good. And she was a child back then. You know what I mean? Now she's an adult. One of my criticisms a little bit was the fact that I wish they characterized her a little more in the film. I wanted more from her character. I feel like she got sort of the shorter edge of the stick when it comes to characterization in the movie. Because Zenk, or no, not Zenk. That's the other guy. Simon, Justice Smith. He gets a little arc, with the helmet and all that. I'm a shitty sorcerer, but I'm actually good. I feel like Sophia, you don't really get a lot of that characterization with Sophia. She got the shorter end of the stick there, but I loved her so much. So one of my criticisms was like, I wish they gave her more because she was so cool. She's a druid, and so she can like, she's the one that turns into like all these animals and shit. By the way, that sequence was impressive, where she infiltrates the castle and it's just like this oneer. Remember the oneer in the castle? The oneer. What's like a one shot?
Oh, the one shot.
Like,
yes.
where she's turning into all these things and like coming out of the castle, I'd love that. I mean, what an impressive sequence that you don't really expect to see in a movie like this. I was like, it's a very like ambitious sequence. Yeah. That again, just a testament to the team that they really sort of try to go far.
Ambitious scenes. Let's talk about the final battle. Let's jump to the final battle. Like there is a scene where you just like Ed and I both after the movie, we both went, God, I wish I got to see that in an Avengers movie or something.
I like an MCU movie again.
Yeah. There is something so great about the way it is filmed. So they're basically all getting their ass kicked by the Red Wizard. The Red Wizard is the person they're trying to stop.
Is the villain.
Yeah, it's a villain. That's what's also great about this movie. The villain isn't really that important. It's more about the adventure they go on.
Yeah.
That's what makes this movie great. It's more about the adventure they go on, and then they said, "Oh, I guess we got to be heroes now." Which, hey, maybe that's what D&D quests are about. I'm not sure, but yeah, they're all getting their asses kicked. There's this all the CGI in the final battle is immensely good.
Yes.
So it starts with Justice Smith using rocks essentially to make a hand and catch himself from being, basically hitting the ground incredibly hard. Then he gets up. They've all been pushed away and hit hard. And then it starts with a scene with them panning back. They start running, and then all of a sudden, all of them are in frame, running towards this lady, trying to stop her. And it is just like such a well choreographed and filmed and executed moment. I was just like, God dang, these guys are fucking really good at their craft. And
I agree with that.
They are really good. Goldstein and Goldstein and Daly. Like, I hope they go. They're probably going to get other big movies. They're probably an MCU probably going to hire them now. Let's be honest. But man, that scene, that final battle was so well done. Had me like, yes.
Yeah, yes. It was like that "Let's go" moment, right?
I think I said "Let's go" in the movie. I was like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
Great.
It's a great sequence.
That was my favorite part of the movie. Is that like how
finals?
How often do you say the final battle is your favorite part of a movie?
It's very rare. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to nail. It's hard to nail a third act. It's hard. It is very rare that you nail third act like that. And you can only hope that the movie's trajectory is like, oh yeah, like the third act is where like the best of the best stuff happens. And I couldn't agree with you more. That's it. Where like it's like sort of the camera sort of panning behind, tracking behind the Red Wizard, whatever her name is, and like his like blasters are going like past the camera while everyone else is also doing some shit around her. Like, I mean, so cool, man. That's just what a fun really movie, fun. Man. It's so fun.
I cannot wait to watch this movie again. Yeah,
I agree. One of my favorite sequences was the fat dragon sequence.
Oh my god, yes!
What
a way! Chubby dragon.
Yes. It's a chubby dragon. Yeah. I mean, that's what a great bit. We've never seen. We always see these like hulking dragons, and they're like these prestigious, things. They're normal. Like again, Game of Thrones. Like the most sleek, ferocious dragons, and this one's a ferocious dragon too, who's had too many donuts. It's fucking great. It's just this humongous fat, and then he's like rolling. Like he can't fly really well because he's so freaking fat. So he's chasing him, and then he's like rolling around.
Yeah,
it's so like perfect for this movie. It's just silly. It's so silly, and I just love that. Again, it was shot well. Most of that was CGI, I assume, and it just looked so good. And stuff like that really sort of I'm sure there were movies like this done before, but you really don't get to see movies like this anymore, where it's just really made for fun. And it's so silly and dumb, and but it knows it is, and you love it. One of my favorite. This is like what's so great, but what really makes it a comedy again is that there's always a joke. There's always something to be like self-deprecating humor. That like one of the person that we were with had a good point. It was very like Simpsons humor, But one of the best gags is right at the top of the movie where where Chris Pine is trying to make a case for him to be released, and he's just waiting for this other guy to show up because he's a bird.
Yeah.
And because the whole idea was to grab this bird and then lunge themselves out of this high window so that they can escape, because the bird obviously has to fly. And then at the end of the movie, they bring that gag back, and they obviously like close off the window. The villain tries to do it. They close off the window, and they hurt themselves. Yeah. And the pigeon hurts them. This big ass pigeon bird hurts himself again. It's just so fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's just like, you don't get jokes like that anymore. It's so good. It's such a simple joke. You know, that's not offensive or anything, and it's just so funny.
Yeah.
You just don't get bits like that. You know, it's so good.
Let's talk about the emasculating men quote that the directors had.
Oh, I was waiting for this. I know we're going to go to Chris again, but okay, let's bring it up. Like,
I mean, because I think that might be your one biggest gripe with the movie. You know.
Well, it's adjacent, I guess you could say. I wouldn't call it emasculation. Well, go ahead. Just explain.
I would agree. I wouldn't call it emasculation. I think that quote, you know, I think a lot of, you know, we saw Critical Drinker and a lot of other people ran with it. And I think that I want to just say, I think you should cool your worries just a little bit. It's not that bad. Like it's much worse in like MCU films. I don't ever feel that Chris Pine is ever sidelined. I don't ever feel that Chris Pine is not pivotal to the plot of the movie. I never feel that he's not important to the team, because he is.
You're saying they've been saying that he is emasculated in the movie? That's what they're saying?
They haven't seen the movie. They hear the quote from the directors, and they're saying, "Oh no!
This came from the directors themselves."
The director said, "We love to emasculate male characters."
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know it was that. I thought it was critical. I thought it was the drinker making an assumption based on the trailer. Oh, damn! So the director said that.
Yeah, the directors have a quote. I can pull it up really quick here.
I'll go for that's fine. I just didn't know that. I fully thought it was an opinion.
No.
Oh, wow. So the directors themselves said they like to emasculate male characters? Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons movie intentionally emasculates its leading men. Well, speaking to Variety, they say this. We're not trying to... I guess the person in Variety said that, Holga and Doric tend to engage in more of the front lines of
That's true.
battle.
They are the cavalry as far as I
and they said, well, that was not an attempt on wokeness on our part. We swear to God. But they also said we also love emasculating leading men.
Honesty, I like it.
But again, they both said it's not there. It was not. They weren't trying to be woke about it. This is how. This is how they said we like our male heroes to be challenged, not simply heroic. So I think that you could take a headline and go all different directions with it. But again, Doctor Strange was sidelined in his own movie. Chris Pine and Justin Smith are pivotal to the plot of this movie.
Absolutely.
They're needed and they're never sidelined. Chris Pine has moments where he has to come to the revelation that he's been a terrible fucking father. Like there's moments of it like where he has a character arc.
Absolutely.
So I think that quote was taken out of context and people saw it and they ran with it. And I just want to try to like reiterate to the crowd, if you've made it this far in the video, go watch the movie. It's not a woke movie at all.
No.
At all.
They're right. I agree with you. Like, you know, I didn't feel any undertones of wokeness at all. I simply saw, the women they're the power. They're the muscle.
Which
I have no problem with that. I have no problem at all.
Video games, dude. Women are heroes in like a chunk of the fucking video games we played growing up.
Yeah. And see, here's the thing. Here's how they do it, right? It's like it was not at the expense of Chris Pine's character.
Exactly.
Or Justice Smith's character.
Exactly.
No one got shortchanged just because they were the strong ones.
Right.
And that's a valuable lesson that most of Hollywood should probably listen to. And this is a prime example of that. Yeah. Though, to your point, you did mention earlier that like you know, one of my cons a little bit was the fact that it's not a con. It's not a con. It's just like a slight like I wish it was a wish fulfillment. I do like seeing Chris Pine like Captain Kirk, you know, I like to have those moments where they have that sort of I'm cool. Like I you know, whatever. I don't know how to call it. Maybe it is the heroic moment. Maybe that's what it is. And look, they did it purposefully. And I wouldn't call it a knock on the film whatsoever. And maybe it's just something I have to get used to. But this is what happens. But you know, yeah, I kind of missed that a little bit because he very much felt like a little unessential because essentially he's just the maker of the plans. He makes plans. And he says it. He admits to it. So it's like I can hardly get mad at that, you know.
Yeah.
So the more I'm saying it, the more I'm like, it's not like they promised me that he was. So you know,
but you know,
I think
Justin
it's
Smith
fair.
gets involved in the action fairly, you know, and Chris Pine does get a couple good hits in there and here and there. Yeah. So you know, hey, I'm cool with it. I think it works.
And I think it does work. One of my favorite jokes of the whole movie was right at the that sequence where they're fighting, they're trying to escape. Wow, that one's loud. That one was
Cars,
loud.
man.
Cars.
So loud. I got thin walls.
When they're escaping Hugh Grant's place, they're being like held captive by the knights or whatever, or the police, whatever you call them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's that action scene that ensues where basically it's Holga kicking these people's asses.
Yes.
And all it is Chris Pine cutting back, and he can't get out of his binds.
Yeah.
So the whole time he's just
watching.
He's doing something else to try to get out of his binds. That's all he's doing in the whole sequence. And then he just quips at every once in a while. Aha, we're showing them. I mean, that's just so freaking funny.
Yeah,
that's so good. I love that.
And then at the end of it, he does get a good hit in. He hits,
and he gets one good. Yeah, he saves her life a little bit. You know?
So yeah, I think that I think that people should not be worried about that too much. And again, like they do it right. Like every character is given an arc. Every character is given something to get behind.
Even if it's just a little. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, just a tiny bit, and it works. Like so, yeah. I think this movie was a very nice surprise, and for me, it's my second favorite movie this year.
Second favorite. Okay.
Yeah, behind Baton. I just can't. I can't get enough of that movie.
Gotcha. Hey, I don't fault those at all. Yeah. I bet you it's about to be overtaken by a certain movie next week, but we'll see.
Oh yes, John Wick 4. I'm excited. I'm also a little sad. They said they're done with the franchise for a while.
That's interesting. Yeah, I was surprised by that. Jesus.
God damn it, Ed.
How has it been 30 minutes?
What do you mean, dude? Like, how do we we never get it right?
I know we never do. I never get it right. Anyways, yeah. That was surprising that they were gonna take a break because I thought they were just gonna keep going till to the end of time. I don't know. Weird. Yeah. But yeah. I'll tell you something. If this is for what, like, if there's a hiatus or whatever you want to call it, this one was the right one to leave it on. I'll say that.
Okay.
So, but I'm so excited. I'm gonna watch it again. I get to watch it again. So excited. Anyways, that's another Dungeons and Dragons. Well, okay. We liked it a lot. I mentioned a little bit of a con with Chris and Doric. Very hardly a problem though. It doesn't no deal breaker. Any cons for you? Is there anything that sort of was felt short or
not really? For me, I really enjoyed this movie. I didn't think it was too long, which is a big gripe I have about a lot of movies.
Sure.
Especially American movies. I just think a lot of them are way too long.
It's 2 hours 10.
Yeah, 2 hours 10. I thought it was paced pretty well. I am so impressed with the CGI in this movie. It's really good. Yeah. The comedy was good. The writing was good. The pacing was good. Let me think.
If I had one more
gripe, what would it be?
Slight gripe. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, well, is it? I don't think it kills the movie in any way, but it's one of those, I guess, maybe more. It could have been a better movie, I guess you could say, if they had just maybe done this. And that is, there was for me, there was a lack of stakes. You know what I mean? Like story wise, I wish there was a little bit more to the stakes. I wish that let's go moment. I love that in and of itself.
Yeah.
But it's not like I felt like there was any real danger. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you kind of know what's gonna
You know,
happen. You sort of know, look,
but
essentially what the story is from the time they get from act 1 to like the 3rd act. I need to get to my daughter. It's
yeah,
simple and there's a beauty in that simplicity, but
yeah.
also not very like engaging. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah, I could see that.
to
But
push
for
that
the counterpoint
through.
I would give to that is that when you start adding those stakes, you run the risk of just kind of shit. What's the word? pulling down the pulling down the movie and just kind of overweighting it in lore
You're not
that a lot
wrong.
of people I don't think understand. Look,
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
we're not Dungeons and Dragons fans.
It's
You
very
have to
possible.
sell this movie to a bigger audience. This apparently the Red Witch is a very big thing in Dungeons and Dragons lore. We don't know shit about her, and I think if you went too far into it,
No.
you run the risk of getting too confusing and too much. And
It's
you
very
do
true.
what-
Like again, I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know the risks, right? That's what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
I pulling shit out my ass, but it's just something that I felt
It's a fair criticism.
there was definitely
Absolutely.
something for me going through it. There was something missing. Like I was
Okay.
having a good time. I was definitely having a good time, but there was still something kind of missing during certain parts where I was like, I wish there was something pushing here a little bit more. And I think that's what it was, where you just kind of what's going to happen at the end of the movie, and so there was like nothing really there for me to catch. That was going to catch that part of me that was sort of slipping when the movie can divulge into like, well, it's comedy and it's action and like I love all that. That's fine. That's all good.
Right.
Like that's all fine. But I think I was wanting a little bit more. But at the same time, not a huge problem. Like it really wasn't. It didn't hinder my enjoyment of the movie. And at the end of the day, as long as you go into it thinking, have a good time, it's gonna fucking do that in spades. You know what I mean?
And I think it goes to be said about I got like a similar feeling watching like the first Pirates of the Caribbean. I can't think of another movie at the moment, but like
Mm.
where just your expectations weren't high, your expectations weren't low. You just didn't know what to expect. And
It
a
meets
good
it.
trailer and good
It exceeds
marketing
it.
and boom. Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Take it to a stratosphere. I get that kind of feeling
You're
with this movie.
sure.
You
No,
know?
I think that's actually a really good. No, that's actually a really good parallel. That's true because when the first Pirates came out, yeah, people weren't really they weren't really knowing what
They
to
were
expect.
gobsmacked by it when they
Yeah,
went to go
yeah.
see it. You were just like, "Oh fuck, the CGI is amazing. This is a fun adventure film. This is
You're
kind
absolutely
of
right.
got pulling parallels to that." Is what
You're
I'm
absolutely right. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. I had the same reaction here. I was just like, "Oh my god, like this is such a fun movie. Like it's
Yeah.
so good. Like I'm laughing.
Yeah.
I'm excited by what's in front of me."
I would
So,
pay to go see this again if I was going to be in the
100%.
country during that time, but I'm not. So
100%,
yeah,
100%. So, anyways, I
yeah,
think as if
that's
there's
it.
anything else, Birdie, I think
No,
I think we're
man.
good.
Yeah.
That's our Dungeons and Dragons review. Hey, look, the truth is, will this movie make its money back? I hope so. It deserves it. So
No.
please, please go. If you just go for a good time, go see it. Give the money. I want to see a sequel. It's just a fun time at the movies.
You got
We need more things like it.
Yes. We
So
need more movies like it. Absolutely.
100%. Just
Fun
go and have a
writing,
good time.
fun time. Please go see it.
Yeah.
It's got the fucking Colossus of Mario like less than a week after. So which
Yeah.
they moved
Oh,
up
I
2
know.
days.
Small window, but please,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're looking for something to do, go watch it.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth your time. You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
So thanks again, everybody. Remember to like, subscribe, and to hit the notification bell so you know when the next slice of pizza is going to hit your plate.
That was good. See you
Thanks,
later.
man. You froze. Bye.
Oh fuck.